Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we are diving into the final, and honestly, one of the most critical phases of the CPMAI lifecycle, Phase VI, Model Operationalization. This is where all the hard work pays off and your AI project actually starts delivering value in the real world. So here's our game plan. We'll start with a quick orientation, then jump into the must-know framework. After that, we'll talk about how you prove you're done, cover the most common exam traps, and run through a quick scenario drill. We'll finish up with some memory hooks to make it all stick. All right, let's get into it. I think the best way to think about this is to imagine you're opening a restaurant. All those earlier phases, 1 through 5, that was you in the kitchen, right? You were perfecting the menu, testing the recipes, getting everything just right. But Phase V? Well, that's opening night. And it's also every single night after that. It's not about the launch, it's about running the business successfully for the long haul. So let's talk about the handover. This phase is all about that crucial shift from project mode to product mode. A tested model goes from being a one-time deliverable to a living, breathing business asset that needs constant care and attention. Now, I know it's the final phase on the list, but in a lot of ways, it's actually a new beginning. And that's exactly why PMI tests this so heavily. You see, AI models aren't something you can just set and forget. They degrade. They can fail silently. And the structures we build in Phase V are what protect us from that happening. Okay, so what's in this operational toolkit? Let's break down the essential inputs, the outputs, and the key decisions you'll be making in Phase V. Trust me, you're going to want to know these inside and out for the exam. Right, so Phase VI doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It's all about traceability. The results and the big go/no-go decision from Phase V are critical inputs. But just as important, we're pulling forward all those original goals, KPIs, and failure modes we defined way back in Phase I. It's about closing the loop and delivering on our initial promises. Now, these 5 deliverables, these are the absolute non-negotiable outputs of Phase VI. This is your toolkit for running that AI restaurant. If you're in an exam scenario and one of these is missing, that's a huge red flag. It's a failure of the methodology. So as the project manager, your job isn't just about managing tasks. It's about driving these critical decisions. You're making sure the deployment is planned, that it's being watched, and that there are clear rules for how it's managed over its entire life cycle. Okay, so when can we pop the champagne? How do we actually know when Phase VI is well and truly done? This is a classic exam topic, so let's make sure we're clear on it. The key takeaway here is that done is not just when the model is deployed. It's when the model is deployed with the complete support system around it. And what's the evidence? Well, it's those 5 key deliverables we just talked about. They are the proof that you've completed the phase properly. This slide right here is huge. This is that traceability the exam loves to test. You see the flow? What we promised in Phase I, we tested in Phase V. And now, in Phase V, we're building the systems to monitor and manage it in the real world. It's a direct line from business need to operational reality. All right, let's talk about where people get tripped up. The exam loves to present scenarios that sound pretty reasonable on the surface, but are actually hiding some critical mistakes. Let's look at a few of the most common traps. This is probably the biggest trap of all, treating an AI project like it has a hard finish line. The correct PMI move is always to complete the loop. That's why the determine requirements for the next iteration deliverable is so important. It formally acknowledges that this is a cycle, not a straight line. The "we'll do it later" trap. It's so tempting, isn't it? Just get the model out there. But in the CPMAI world, that's a huge mistake. Those plans for monitoring and governance are not optional afterthoughts. They are mandatory deliverables for Phase VI. Deploying without them is like flying blind. You know that old saying, if everyone is responsible, then no one is responsible? That's exactly what this trap is about. A model in production without clear ownership is an accident waiting to happen. The model governance framework is the deliverable that prevents this by defining exactly who owns what. Okay, enough theory. Let's put this into practice. I'm going to run you through a few quick exam-style questions. I'll pause for a second after each one so you can think about your answer. Ready? So what do you think? Look at the specific activities being mentioned. Where in the life cycle are we? And the answer is Phase V. This is a classic phase identification question. The big giveaways here are writing the final project report and conducting the project review. Those are signature activities that happen right at the end of Phase V. Okay, next one. This is a painful but very real-world scenario. What critical document did this team forget to create?
You got it. The missing deliverable is the monitoring and maintenance plan. Without this, you're basically driving a car with no dashboard. No speedometer, no fuel gauge, no check engine light. You're just waiting for it to break down, and you'll have no idea why.
Last one. This one really tests your understanding of that circular CPMAI process. So they have this great lessons learned document. What's the very next official thing the PM should do? The key here is to formalize it. That awesome lessons learned document can't just sit in a folder. The PM's next action is to turn it into the official, determine requirements for the next iteration deliverable. That's the action that formally closes the loop and kicks off the next cycle. Okay, let's wrap this up and get it locked in. We're going to boil everything down to a few simple rules and a short list of things you absolutely have to memorize for exam day.
Seriously, burn this slide into your brain. Take a screenshot, write it down, do whatever you need to do. These if-then rules are your best friend for quickly eliminating wrong answers under pressure. And that list of 5 deliverables, you just have to know it cold.
So yeah, that quote really says it all, doesn't it? Phase V truly is both an ending and a beginning. Let's do a super quick recap of the 3 most testable takeaways you need to walk away with. So there you have it. 1, it's the shift from project to product. 2, it's all about traceability back to Phase I. And 3, it's a loop, not a line. If you can master those 3 concepts, you're going to be in fantastic shape for any Phase V scenario the exam throws at you. That's all for this explainer. Good luck with your studies.